We at Dell have been adopting Zero Trust for many, many years. We have been at the pioneer level because of our strength of understanding the customer environment, bringing the right tools, right set of infrastructure element, whether it is our endpoint devices, which is the client, or our networks, servers, our storage systems, the backup systems, and then protecting data, be it in any cloud. We have the right frameworks to understand the security, making sure the authentication is there, continuous monitoring, as well as segmentation so that you are now able to catch the breach faster. Cybersecurity is at the heart of any innovation because if not done well, this has the capability to bring it down completely. We are enabling organizations to adopt, to be on their AI journey, develop right use cases, bring AI to the data, which is essentially making your queries faster in a way. And secondly, we'll bring in the right infrastructure, services, and the ecosystem of applications to deliver those use cases. So what we call as Dell AI Factory.
From banking to healthcare, AI is reshaping industries. But it's also giving cyber criminals new tools to exploit. With cyber attacks happening every 11 seconds, businesses can't afford to be reactive anymore. So how do we stay ahead in this high-stakes game of digital security? Welcome to Mint Techcetra, where we decode tech trends shaping our world. I'm your host Karthik, and today we are diving deep into AI's impact on cybersecurity with Mr. Ripu Bajwa from Dell Technologies. Mr. Ripu is a seasoned leader with over 25 years in the IT industry, currently heading the Data Protection and Unstructured Data Solutions Division at Dell Technologies, India. A Dell EMC veteran for 15 years, Mr. Ripu has played key roles in driving business growth from leading enterprise sales to spearheading the service provider vertical. He not only co-chairs AmChair's Cybersecurity Committee and actively engages with industry forums and government bodies, but is also deeply committed to CSR supporting various NGOs for meaningful change. Mr. Ripu Bajwa, great to have you here.
Hi Karthik, great to be here too.
So we live in a world where AI as a term is thrown like we are throwing, our visiting cards on the crossroad. AI has made our life easier, but it's also helping cyber criminals launch smarter and faster attacks. How are businesses in India adapting to this reality, and what's one major shift you have personally seen in the way organizations approach security today compared to a few years ago?
Let me start, Karthik, how organizations are innovating fast with AI and of course with the new age attacks, and especially spurred by AI-led attacks. I think organizations have become smarter now. They are looking at ways in which now it's no longer about having just your firewalls or antiviruses. They are looking at proactively checking their data sets, how they are kept, the processes. They are going to the extent of finding out their resiliency posture, how quickly they can come back with minimal viable organization and be ready to face any eventuality. So they are becoming more proactive, number one. Secondly, we are also seeing with more and more sophisticated attacks happening, which are taking you down after a period of time, after a dwell time of a certain, 6 months approximately. The nature in which these sophisticated attacks have taken shape, maybe it's a supply chain-led attack, consortium-led attack, or a nation-state-sponsored attack. The ultimate motive may not be just ransomware. It could be, taking down the data, corrupting it or stealing it. And therefore the motivation behind the attackers can be different. So organizations have to prepare to a strategy which can be starting with no ransomware, paying and defending themselves with being able to bring their data back, being able to be in business in no time. And therefore, security tools, security solutions are important, but building resiliency with respect to how soon in the event of an attack or in the event of a breach, am I able to bring back my critical data sets so that I am not down for a long period of time. So I think that maturity is coming in across organizations, be it across verticals. I think they are becoming more sensitive to security and not letting it come in the way of their innovation strategies. So that's a big change.
The threat landscape is always evolving. We know this. The moment we talk about the internet, the moment we talk about technology, and there has to be security awareness. And it needs to be there at the leadership level as well, because this is no more just an IT issue now. What should companies focus on today to ensure they are prepared for the cyber threats of tomorrow?
I think it has to be CEO led, and the entire organization has to be fighting this and being prepared. It is all about individual accountability, because the data that the company is now processing or keeping with itself, the stakes are pretty high. There is now a penalty coming in terms of if you were to take somebody's data and be caught in a breach scenario, there is a penalty as per the new act. And more than that, the whole idea of keeping your data safe, and it has a direct correlation to your brand and your shareholder value. So it is definitely at the CEO and the board level. Cybersecurity has been rated as number one challenge as well as a priority for a lot of banking organizations globally. We have done a lot of surveys across the board. And as much as Gen AI is important, cybersecurity is hand in hand equally important for organizations to be looked at. And how the new landscape emerges with new ways in which people are using AI to attack you. There's AI to also defend you. AI is being used in secure operations today. It is helping organizations becoming more smart in terms of detecting and responding to threats, reducing the attack surface itself, and overall the recovery of the organization itself can be more automated, more intelligently designed by looking at various patterns of network data which is coming into your network, how that is getting analyzed near real-time basis, making corrections, making you much smarter and agile. So it is literally arming you to become more competitive, because the more prepared you are, the more agile as an organization you would be. You will be able to go to your customers with more confidence, with their data being safe always. And that defines the organization's overall competitive advantage. So cybersecurity is at the heart of any innovation, because if not done well, this has the capability to bring it down completely. And we have seen in the past many organizations who had not taken resiliency and recovery very seriously. They had to have some serious surprises, and then they have done some course correction. What has been very inspiring is, in spite of many attacks, and as you know, attacks are happening every 11 seconds, the organizations today have built plans around how quickly can I be ready with my clean data so that I can start my operations. And also both defense as well as bringing it back, the resiliency is very, very important. And that's how the top-down approach matters. Across the board, all CXOs have now realized that it's not just an IT problem or a CISO problem. It's all about the marketing team, the legal, the finance. They all have to, and as an employee of that organization, you have to be more cyber aware. And that is how the top-down approach is working. Because an insider can be the weakest point, as it's been seen in many of the attacks. So one has to adopt it at a people level, at a technology level, and a process level.
Mr. Bajwa, you rightfully said that this tech revolution is also reshaping our workforce. Ultimately, the employees also should evolve alongside the AI, and there is also a need of digital literacy. With India's booming digital economy that we have seen in so many years, cyber attacks are actually on the rise. Are SMBs and startups at a greater risk due to limited security budgets? Where are we most vulnerable, and what are some unique security challenges businesses here face?
Actually, it's true, Karthik. We have seen SMBs and many organizations do not have that maturity in terms of IT and security, skill sets and ability to handle in case of a breach, how the systems have to be designed or architected for that highest level of resiliency, which a large enterprise, because of the budgets that they have, they can afford to. But yeah, the scenario is not, it's that, like the way cloud was for them, from a security point of view, it is not so very difficult by keeping the basics right. Cybersecurity is all about doing the right things the right way, and maintaining certain discipline around how you're going to deploy your technology across the organization. So simple principles like zero trust, making sure that people are aware of their privileges, designing right levels of security at all the right points, whether it's the edge where actually people are working, data moving through the network to the data centers, or going to cloud or multi-cloud, for example, keeping sure that you are choosing the right partners who understand security, and especially in the new age, also the third party risk is coming when you look at who are your supplier's supplier. So you need to make sure that you're choosing your partners correctly. Secondly, you have to ensure discipline, which is a must, awareness across the organization, because you may have the best of breed technology with you, but if there is a different motivation which your employee is having, then that can be a source of disruption. So making sure your discipline around data is clear, and definitely putting guardrails. You might be innovating very fast and you want to be, as a startup or any other organization, want to be ahead and moving fast. But then you have to put growth, data, and resiliency together. There cannot be any compromise when it comes to security. So principles of intrinsic security, which are coming together now, not bolt-on security, those should be adopted. Simple ways of making sure the endpoints are protected, people are accessing information using the right access mechanisms. The internal IT of those organizations should be ready with what are the basics in terms of new age cyber threats, as much as just keeping a data with yourself on production and keeping a copy maybe somewhere offsite. So you need to know that if I'm going live with some data, I need to be ready to bring it back in the shape in which it was running, no matter what. So designing it right and having the right ecosystem around you is very, very important.
Mr. Bajwa, wherever there is a new technology that comes out in a public forum, people, rather than talking about the merits of that technology, we always criticize that technology. We always talk about the demerits of that technology. AI suddenly became the talk of the town. AI isn't just a tool for hackers, it's also the strongest weapon against them. And we know this. How is Dell leveraging AI to predict, detect, and counter cyber threats in real time?
So there are two ways in which we are doing. One is we are enabling organizations to adopt, to be on their AI journey, develop right use cases, bring AI to the data. You may be having multiple sources of data. Rather than collating all of this and then doing AI on it, we are bringing AI to the data itself, which is essentially making your queries faster in a way. Data doesn't have to be transported into one place. And secondly, we'll bring in the right infrastructure, services, and the ecosystem of applications to deliver those use cases. So what we call as Dell AI Factory. Now, obviously, to your question, the disruptors, the attackers, are going to be looking at this innovation as the new target, so that they can be more and more relevant. As the dollars get spent on AI and Gen AI use cases for that organization, where they're trying to use AI to their advantage to become more productive, to serve their customers better, there can be a scenario in which your data gets, there can be poisoning of the data when there's a training data, for example, or your LLMs that you are actually looking into, they could be corrupted. Your output source data could be also malign. And then there are ways in which now organization has decided to take care of, hallucinations, for example, which happen. You could be actually working with not really a clean data set. And if there is a corruption, you could end up with a different outcome. And then the whole strategy behind doing this can go wrong. So very important for us to actually leverage AI in terms of security also. So when an attacker takes that role, they will use the AI to come into the system and then corrupt it and spoil the outcome. You could use AI to your advantage, and this could be typically having the right automation, firstly, being able to detect things much more intelligently at the network level, faster, smartly, feeding into your SIM or SOAR, which is on the security operations, and AI ops are also going to be very importantly designing to make sure that you use that to your advantage. Also looking at the content overall, what is, and the knowledge that you have collected over time with your logs, how does that serve you better? Can you identify certain trends? You overall become much more smart in your approach to defending. However, that threat always remains that, you would be taken down one day. And that day, in that eventuality, how is your organization ready to recover with a clean set of data? So planning for that is as important. So to assume a scenario that there will be a robbery in my house one day, then what is my critical data, or what is my critical basics that I need to be ready with so that I am still fine? So you have to assume that there will be a breach. You have to assume that there will be someday your backups, which is your last source of defense, they will be also taken down. Then what? So you need to plan that event and think that, can I create an environment from where I can still recover, which we call as isolated recovery environment. And then in that environment, you actually do a lot of intelligent work. You actually analyze data. You are smartly looking at data sets which are in your environment. And this is, by the way, in an isolated environment, so it's not connected. So you are able to now predict certain corruptions or any attack as well. So it actually arms and makes you more proactive in your design. And in the worst case, if you have to restart, you have a clean set of copy to start from. And no time you can actually say to your business that, look, I am ready to start. I don't have to pay the ransom. I have my clean set of data. I can get started. So if you plan this well, you can meet any kind of incident or breach.
Mr. Bajwa, just to follow up on this, and just because we are digging deep into what AI can actually do, do you really believe that AI can truly replace human decision making in cybersecurity, or is it more of an assistive force?
It's a great question, actually. To be honest, AI can come as near as possible, especially with agentic AI. You will see that taking shape. It will get into a scenario where your actions could also be done by the use case that you are designing. But there will be a very important level of judgment and application because based on certain data sets, you will get a certain behavior from that from that action that you want. But in many cases, it requires a human interface as well to make sure that it's not completely offset to a machine. Any case that you see, be it healthcare, be it automation in industry, in a manufacturing, or in a financial world, you would like a person to be checking all the time whether this particular decision which is being taken has been taken with the right standards in mind. Sometimes if you let it off completely, there could be biases, there could be internal motives of certain bad guys who would do this, use the machine to take over, and then you could be liable for that, because now, and by the way, you are actually now using data from many sources which is not directly in your control. So you are not really, you may be having the right intentions, but somebody else may not. So you could be liable for that. And therefore, you've got to use your judgment before taking any important action. Yes, it does automate things. It brings things faster. I'll give you an example. We use internally Dell Sales Chat for a lot of information to be collected together. But when it comes to actually sending it to some key person, a customer, we use the judgment as to how to present it, how the interaction has to be made. What is the human angle in it? How is the person who's going to read it feel it? So that is very important and critical. It cannot be so automated that it does everything. So I would say the human human interface part will definitely continue. It will play even more important role because you have to judge based on the data that is coming on you. So it's going to be even more critical.
Mr. Bajwa, they say businesses don't operate in isolation. Vendors, partners, and customers all share the risk. How can AI as a tool help secure this broader digital ecosystem? And what's your advice for companies who is actually looking to balance security and innovation without stifling growth?
All organizations want to grow fast, and we should be helping them using the right technology and tools. The ability to maximize the outcome and the output that you are looking for depends on how you deploy the tool, how you are actually leveraging the information that is present to in the right manner, so that it is delivering the right results. When we look at the partner ecosystem, which is playing here, not one company can serve all these needs. There has to be the responsibility of the ecosystem, which is basically taking care of the information which is moving, the data sets. So when we look at design, when we look at bringing the right infrastructure, choosing a right partner who can understand security as well as innovation the best is very, very critical. Because you could have a plethora of solution providers, but if somebody is not owning up to what is the next level, then it becomes your headache to bring everything together and you become the owner. Which in businesses, they don't want to get into the IT domain. They want the IT supplier, the OEMs to take care of this, and security suppliers as well, solution suppliers. So what we have as a common challenge is to make sure the tools, technologies, infrastructure, and the ecosystem of our partners. And there is always risk, when you look at your suppliers, the secure supply chain, how you're really sourcing your components, all of that matters because ultimately it is that which is going to run with your data. So you have to depend on the right set of partners. You'll have to kind of create the right ecosystem who can check if you're doing any software, who's your partner for software development? Is it following all the right principles? If it's hardware level, what is the kind of security standards you are really employing? Making sure that supply chain to silicon, everything is tightly integrated, and that piece really will become your differentiator because your ability to serve your customers is dependent on your suppliers' ability to serve you with the right secure tools and infrastructure elements. So I think going forward, more and more responsibility will also lie on selection of the right vendors in your environment, as well as looking towards better ways of deploying and realizing the technology with which you had actually thought of, the right outcomes, are they there or not, and always continuously checking your goals, because many times you start with certain aspirations and you deploy a technology, and by then certain new standards have come in. So continuously monitoring how you are benchmarking against the best and also keeping yourself current and safe. That is very, very important.
Mr. Bajwa, the phrase never trust, always verify. It sounds paranoia, but in cybersecurity, it's the new normal. How is Dell integrating zero trust principles into its security solutions, and what are some practical steps businesses can actually take today to implement zero trust without solving down productivity?
Well, Karthik, we at Dell have been adopting zero trust for many, many years. In fact, some of our infrastructure components have got these principles right more than a decade back. What companies today are talking about adopting zero trust, technology players like us have been doing that. We have been at the pioneer level because of our strength of understanding the customer environment, bringing the right tools, right set of infrastructure element, whether it is our endpoint devices, which is the client, or our networks, servers, our storage systems, the backup systems, and then protecting data, be it in any cloud. We have the right frameworks, you can say, to understand the security and the principles of zero trust, which is making sure the authentication is there, continuous monitoring, as well as segmentation, so that you are now able to catch the breach faster. And of course, making sure that from a design side, making it purpose oriented. Any kind of technology requires a very specific, set of infrastructure requirements, and that has to be served with the right platform. And having that breadth of portfolio has been our strength to serve organizations' need across various sizes. So we have the right flavors, you can say, of every platform, which can be taken by the organization depending upon their appetite, their needs, or their starting points, and then be able to scale it to all the way up to the largest of possible organizations. And as we do this, our objective is to make sure that we are helping organizations adopt technology with human progress, and that's how we design that principally. So our objective is that whatever we do, we are very conscious of sustainability, making it definitely more efficient so that it's less energy consuming, making it definitely more and more ready for high scale performance, but at the same time very cost effectively designed so that people are getting the right value around it. At the same time, making sure that you're not compromising in your basics of how you want to keep your organization safe, and of course scaling with the right technology. So when you look at Gen AI and overall our entire focus behind Dell AI Factory, it's been designed in such a way that organizations can adopt it, can quickly start on those use cases, securely build with the right infrastructure, have the right service offerings, so that whatever their objectives or goals are, those are met. And we are enabling that much faster with our overall expertise.
What's clear is that cybersecurity is no longer just about defense. It's also about staying ahead. With AI-driven threats on the rise, organizations must rethink security from the ground up. As we heard today, it's not just about having the right tools, but about building a resilient mindset, a zero trust framework, and a proactive approach to safeguarding data, systems, and people. Mr. Ripu, before we let you go, we would like you to sum up this absolutely enlightening episode for us. Any parting words?
Well, I think we have the right environment in terms of taking on this challenge of going for our innovation objectives with the right objectives and the use cases, keeping security hand in hand and cybersecurity awareness being prime. It will help us take this journey much faster. Awareness, implementation, and using the right tool sets with the right technology players, it will definitely help overall accelerate the innovation for organizations. Now, how do we as Dell Technologies want to be playing a very, very strong role is by bringing in the entire breadth of our portfolio in terms of making sure that security is paramount and it is taken care of in the right way as you deploy various new use cases, or you modernize yourself, or you prepare yourself for the next 10 years. You should be looking towards a partner who can deliver and who has the right skill sets and proven expertise in making sure that as we adopt AI and our use cases around Gen AI, we are in the safe hands. We are also having the right partners with us. So that's going to be critically important.
A big thank you to our expert, Mr. Ripu Bajwa, for breaking it all down, and to our listeners for tuning in. If you found this conversation insightful, don't forget to subscribe to Mint Techcetra for more deep dives into the world of technology and business. Until next time, stay secure, stay smart. This is your host, Karthik, signing off.